What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and diving into really see if the game is as bad, worse, or better than what people are making it out to be because this game has been getting a lot of hate online. If you just look up any videos, any gameplays of the big Call of Duty YouTubers talking about it, a lot of them have been hating on it quite a bit. Not as bad compared to Modern Warfare, but the very few YouTubers that actually like the game is really quite small compared to the YouTubers complaining about the game, saying that it's a bad game. So to start, we're just going to start off with the least talked about topic, the campaign. Personally, I think the campaign was really good. It was a bit short, especially if you didn't do any side missions. It was a really fast campaign, but it gave me Black Ops 2 vibes where it was heavily influenced by your decisions that you made in the game. I would say it was less subtle with your choices and the changes that it would make. Like in Black Ops 2, subtle changes and different things that you would do could give you a different ending. Whereas in this game, it's definitely more obvious what changes that you make will affect the ending, and you can really dictate which ending you're going to get pretty easily from the beginning if you just want to do everything right or everything wrong. That's pretty much what it boils down to. I did enjoy that aspect of it. It gave me Black Ops 1 vibes with the setting. I enjoyed myself when I played it. Um, Doing the side missions didn't really change anything like I thought it would, as far as I could tell. I went and did this two side missions. You have to figure out the puzzles and just do a small, like, run in, kill a guy, run out mission. Not that big of a deal. I didn't think it made a difference. Maybe it did, but they definitely could have just left that out. Even though I know some people enjoyed the fact that it had optional missions, but it really didn't make a difference to me. It just kind of felt like filler content. So that I didn't really care too much for, but that's not a big deal. I can easily overlook that for the good storytelling I thought that it had. It did end a bit abruptly, which, I mean, when you have multiple endings and time constraints, obviously that's probably what's going to happen. But with the two endings, I was pretty happy with it. I would I'm content with what they gave us. Now, moving on from that to the bigger topic of multiplayer. How does this year's multiplayer stack up against last year's Modern Warfare's multiplayer? Me personally, I like it. I think it is a lot better than Modern Warfare last year. When Modern Warfare came out last year, all anyone was doing was sitting in a corner with a shotgun, and to this day, that is the main playstyle that I see people using, is going into a corner, sitting there with a shotgun and waiting. What I don't like personally in this year is the graphics downgrade. I liked the more realistic look and aesthetic of Modern Warfare. A lot of people said it was too gray. I disagree. I think it was just more natural and realistic, and people don't like that. People like playing Call of Duty in an arcadey type style, so everything's overly saturated. Everything is super high colors, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Cold War is still a great looking game. Don't get me wrong. I think the game looks absolutely amazing, especially for the new generation. I don't think that it's technically a next gen game yet. I don't think the graphics are there yet, but it's definitely an upgrade to say the least. I think this game has a lot more of a aggressive playstyle. When I play the game anyways, I've noticed that people are a lot more aggressive, a lot more people are running around. Yeah, you get people camping here and there, but those are probably the people that have been coming from Modern Warfare rather than the people like me who have been coming from Black Ops 1 and are used to the aggressive, up in your face playstyle. Now, a big controversial change was the score streaks. How they decided that, you know what, you can, even after death, you can still keep building up points towards your score streak. I like it, but I don't like it. I like it because how they did it was about as good as they could do. Like the AC-130 or the gunship requires 10,000 score, which is really difficult to do. And a lot of my games I've been in, besides, I would say, Combined Arms, a lot of times you won't see people get that high of a score unless they go on 20 plus kill streaks. So it's not overpowered where anyone can get a gunship. But what I do not like about it at all is the beginning of the game is super slow. Yeah, you get a bunch of spy planes. Middle game is a bunch of napalms and cruise missiles. But at the end of the game, like the last 5 minutes, I would say, is nothing but score streak spam. Attack helicopters, napalms. You might call in an attack helicopter, but by the time it gets here, it's already destroyed because 3 other people sent in their cruise missiles and wiped out your team and took out the attack helicopter in the process. And it becomes less about gunplay and more about avoiding score streaks by the end of the game. Yes, it's chaos. Yes, it can be fun, but most of the time it's overwhelming and you're not really playing the game anymore. You're hiding behind score streaks. Kind of a controversial take. A lot of people might not agree with me on it. And don't get me wrong, it's not every game that this is happening, but it does happen a lot. Now, a way to counterbalance this is they put in a cooldown system, which works unless you have 6 people all running the same score streak, and then they just keep running it back with back-to-back napalm strikes. So, like, the entire middle of the map is on fire, so you can't do anything, because by the time like the 4th or 3rd person sends out their napalm, the first guys is already cooled off and ready to go again. Me personally, by the end of most multiplayer games, I've called in probably 3 or 4 napalm strikes, which would probably be normal if we didn't have this system. We had the old system, it'd probably be about the same. But it's always like the middle to the end of the game that I get them all, not the beginning of the game where it's just slow because everyone is still building up score. Another thing to talk about is the guns. Yes, there are broken guns. MP5, M16 are still god tier. Easy. But otherwise, I would say the weapons are pretty well balanced. The AK-47, now that more people are using it, you can definitely tell that it has a big advantage over a lot of the other ARs and even some submachine guns. But the snipers, that is where I think they can do a little buffs, because in the beta, I didn't really play the beta, but from what I heard, the snipers were really good. Like, god tier, broken good. And now that we're in the actual game, they are nowhere near that good. No, not at all. The ADS time is way too slow. Yeah, you can kind of quickscope, but you have to pretty much shoot before you even, what we used to call black scoping. You can't even do that anymore because of how slow the ADS is. You either have to hard scope and sit somewhere, or trust yourself to pretty much almost hip fire, shoot, and one-shot people. It's kind of ridiculous, but I mean, I get where they're coming from, because every year all they do is get complaints about the snipers. And now this is what we're going to get, just because they're tired of hearing about it. I'm hoping they'll get a buff. They don't really need a damage buff. They don't need an ammo buff. What they need is just faster ADS time. They don't have to be like Black Ops 2 where it's like instant almost, but they need to increase it at least a little bit. Because right now it is abysmally slow and it is not fun at all. In my opinion, it's not anyways. Another controversial topic with multiplayer is the amount of maps that a game came with. It definitely should have had more maps. It is almost inexcusable for only shipping with 8 maps, but with the pandemic this year and them getting the game handed off to them from Sledgehammer and a bunch of other behind the scenes stuff that they had to go through even to get this game to come out, I'm going to let it slide and hope that the seasonal content and maps that are going to be coming will make up for it. Because if I was in their position, I'm not a game designer, I couldn't do it. So I'm just happy we got a game this year. In all honesty, would I have been okay with them pushing the game back before releasing it? Honestly, that might have been better. They probably should have waited till February, March of 2021 before releasing the game. Then we could have had a more complete game with less bugs, more content. That just would have been better overall. But I think we all know Activision is not gonna allow that, because they're the greediest company on this planet next to EA. So the few maps that we do have are mediocre. I like Moscow. That map is pretty decent. Has the basic 3-lane concept with a little bit more intricacies in it, but I enjoy it. When I play that, I have fun. Maps I do not like at all. Miami. I do not know why they tried doing the 3 lanes there, but it just doesn't work. Because in the middle, there's about 20 different spots people can shoot you from, and you cannot cover all of them. Even if you want to, trying to play domination on Miami is abysmal. You are not going to have fun playing that, especially if you're on worst team. It's not a good experience. In my opinion anyways, it hasn't been at all. I do like Cartel. Cartel is probably one of my favorite new maps, only because of the jungle vibes that it gives me. A lot of people probably don't make that connection, but that I do. And I love that map from Black Ops 1. Only thing I don't like is the bushes by the B flag. It's a bit ridiculous. They should make them more see-through or get rid of them completely. That's probably the best thing that they could do, because I'm tired of people proning in them and then just sitting there waiting while you run up there and then get shot because there's nothing you can do because you can't see them. That's the only complaint I have about that map. Otherwise, that's probably my favorite one. Armada, I don't like. I do not like the combined arms version, and I don't like the 6v6 version. Okay, I'm going to take that back. The 6v6 version isn't that bad because no one's going down in the middle. No one's shooting me from a ship off the side. I'm not getting sniped from the 2 other ships for no reason. Is that me bitching to bitch? Yeah, probably, to be honest. I can admit that. You know, just annoying trying to get to the middle where all the action is, but when you're going across the zip line, you either get sniped from 3 different positions or you got 2 boats gunning you down so you can't move. I don't know. I haven't had any good experiences playing that map yet. A map that I did like was Checkmate. Small, and it reminds me a lot of the Call of Duty mobile map. I don't remember what it's called, but it's indoors, and there's like a airplane in the middle that is like mid lane, I guess you'd call it, which can be annoying, especially when playing domination, simply for the fact that it's easy to camp and it's hard to push into, especially if the other team has a solid defense on it. But it's fun because you don't have to push through there. You can either go underneath the airplane in the middle or you can go around the sides and you'll still run into plenty of people. It's small and it's fast paced, but the B flag can get easily out camped and with almost nothing you can do. Especially when the top of it is mostly covered, so your score streaks, like your attack helicopter, escort plane, and gunship, can't really do much because there's a roof there. You can't shoot in. So that causes some issues, but otherwise, it's a great map. I really like it. Crossroads is different, like in the sense that I feel like it's more of a battlefield map. All I do is run and get shot at by snipers. There are snipers every which way that you look, which you can either counter snipe or get on a vehicle and try and outrun them. If you get to a building, it's not that bad to have, because you don't really have to deal with them. They're not really shooting into the buildings. They're mostly shooting at each other. The created class this year with the gunsmith is a lot like Modern Warfare, and I appreciate that. I really do like this system over the pick 10 system, just because it adds more diversity and a lot more that you can do. It gives you a lot more to use instead of having to limit yourself some ways over others that can definitely put you at a disadvantage against someone else who did their pick 10 differently. Black Ops 2 did a lot of things right, but that is not something that I liked, was the pick 10 system. That they did wrong. What we have now with the 8 attachments, and you can pick 2 guns, and you can have 2 primary guns even, and you can fully kit them out with full attachments, and you don't have to give up your perks, your lethal, tactical, none of that, is great. It helps with leveling, and it just helps with playstyle diversity. You go up against a lot of different people like that. Shotguns and secondaries is not really something that we've had for a while. I think the last time we had that was Modern Warfare 3. Definitely feel more like primaries than they do secondaries. So I feel like that was kind of a mistake on their part because of how good they made the shotguns. But at the same time, you can easily counter them as long as you're not running up in their faces. They can be countered pretty well. So I'm not going to complain too much about that. The weapon leveling in the game is super slow. Abysmally slow. We just had an update, so it does make it better. But I would say that it needs either a little bit more of an increase, or they need to start bundling it where one level gives you 1 or 2, maybe 3 attachments instead of just 1 or none. Because leveling every weapon to level 55 right now is terrible. I'm level 100 prestige 3. I'm maxed out until the season starts, and I have probably 8 weapons maxed out, and a lot of other ones I'm only level 30 or 40 on. And some of them I haven't even started yet. There's some I haven't even touched yet. And that's insane to me because usually by technically prestige 3, I can have almost a full weapon class maxed out. I mean, I have shotguns maxed out, but there's only 2 of those. I have pistols maxed out, but that's because there's only 3 of those too. The ARs, I have 1 done. I have 1 tactical rifle done and 1 sniper. That's it. I'm pretty sure that's all that I have right now. I guess it does probably make a difference that I have a lot more time in zombies than I do over multiplayer. So I've been trying to level up my weapons in there. And up until now, the XP system in zombies has been terrible. They did update it. I haven't tested it out yet to know if it's even worthwhile still or not, because once I found out during double XP that public matches were the best way to go, that's what I was doing and was actually leveling up my weapons decently fast. But I'll save that to talk about in the zombie section. Overall, I think that this year's multiplayer is better than Modern Warfare's. I don't think people are giving it enough credit where it deserves it, because all they're focusing on is the negatives, which is exactly what happened with Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare, in my opinion, was not a bad game, just people abused the mechanics in it just like they will any other Call of Duty. But you can play Modern Warfare in an aggressive way and not play defensively and do just fine. That's how I played it, and I had a good time. Was I having fun all the time? No. Did I rage quit a lot? Yeah, but that's with any Call of Duty game. This year's Call of Duty is a lot more aggressive, a lot more arcadey and chaotic, and that's why I think it's better than Modern Warfare, and a lot of people need to take a step back and think about how Modern Warfare played. And I'm sure a lot more people would be giving this game a lot more credit, especially when they think about what the game developers had to go through to get this game out to us. Moving on from that, now we're going to talk about zombies. Zombies this year is the best it has been since Black Ops 3, which isn't saying a lot because we've only had Black Ops 4 in between there, and Black Ops 4 is absolutely abysmal. But when I started playing zombies in Black Ops 1, I remember I was absolutely obsessed. I would play it 24/7, way more than I would play multiplayer. Yeah, I'd take breaks to go play multiplayer, but if anything, I was playing zombies. Black Ops 2 came out, same thing. I maybe hit Prestige 3 in multiplayer on Black Ops 2 because of how much I was playing zombies, because it was such a rewarding game. The weapons were fun, the wonder weapons were fun. Origins was easily what I spent my most time on. I've beaten that Easter egg probably almost 100 times now, just because of how much fun I had playing that game. Call of Duty Ghost was, if anyone remembers, was a bust. So I stayed on Black Ops 2 most of the time, and I played zombies all through that. And by the time Black Ops 3 came out, I was almost burnt out completely of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 zombies. Like, I had spent so many hours just grinding out zombies with friends and my cousins who I normally play with. We were so burnt out, we were ready for something new, and I was praying Black Ops 3 would be great. Thankfully, that it was. I know I've been talking a lot about older Call of Duties, but that's just a buildup because Black Ops 4 destroyed my drive to play zombies. When Black Ops 4 came out and the beginning hype of 9 was out and Blood of the Dead, I had a great time. But as soon as that hype died and we really started looking at the flaws of the Black Ops 4 system, I didn't even want to play zombies anymore. I didn't want to play Black Ops 3 zombies. I didn't want to play Black Ops 2 zombies. I pretty much left Call of Duty zombies in general. I didn't play it for a year. And then Modern Warfare came out, and I was only playing Modern Warfare. I still wasn't playing zombies again just because of how bad of a taste Black Ops 4 left in my mouth. And then when reveal of Cold War came out, I started getting back into zombies. I went back to Black Ops 3 and I did all the Easter eggs besides Shadows because I don't have 4 people to play with. But I did the solo version of it, so I guess I did do it. But I was reinvigorated from playing Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 zombies coming into Cold War. So now that I've put in 5 days worth of Cold War, which isn't a lot compared to other zombie YouTubers, but I got a full-time job on the side. And the time that I've put in, it is easily 100 times better than Black Ops 4, which says a lot because a lot of people said in Black Ops 4 that that the zombies community doesn't like change, that we just want to keep it old school and we don't want anything other than that, which isn't true. Clearly, if you look at Cold War, we have the same point system from Black Ops 4, and that's about it. But we still do a lot of things different from Black Ops 3. You can buy as many perks as you want. You can upgrade your perks. We have field orders instead of specialists now. That was a big problem with Black Ops 4 is our specialists, you got right off the bat. Like right at the beginning of the game, you had it. You were pretty much overpowered. You had no reason to worry anymore. That game was way too safe. It was way too easy, and you didn't feel rewarded. Even when you get the wonder weapon, you're like, I still have my specialist, so what's the point of this? You didn't get rewarded enough for the gameplay and what the game was telling you to do. Cold War is a completely different story. We have weapon rarities, which helps out a lot because you can either stay with your gun or you can move on, buy a different gun, but you can't just buy any gun and use any gun right away, which can be good or bad because late game, like around 25 and up, all you get is quote unquote legendary weapons. So at that point, you technically could use any weapon. but it's nice being able to see a weapon go from level 0, technically, up to legendary, which is the green, blue, purple, orange. Seeing one go from gray, when you are your starting weapon, up to legendary, almost any weapon is actually good. I would argue the KSP, the Burst SMG, is still pretty good. Even the MP5, which is notoriously low damage, when you get up to legendary, can still do quite a bit, even in the higher 30s, higher 40s, well, mid 40s, I'd say. It does still really well, which is surprising to see from an SMG. So the weapon rarity system is awesome because it lets people use whatever weapons they want and still have a good time. The specialists in this game are just an ability, not in a weapon. You're not indestructible if you have it. It's not a get out of jail free card besides Ether Shroud. Some people might argue Ring of Fire's get out of jail free card, but if you use it too late, I've been down multiple times from trying to use my Ring of Fire too late because I'm trying to be greedy and hold off as long as possible. Energy Mine, there's a delay on it. And then Frozen Blast, it can freeze all the zombies and you still get swarmed. So I would argue that they're not really overpowered. Ether Shroud, you might be able to make an argument for it, but if you're not prepared when you get out of the Ether Shroud, you're done. And a way that they counterbalance this, I guess, is they made self-revives unlimited, which I'm 50-50 on. I do like it because it makes the game more accessible and more fun to a lot of newer players. And like the world record right now, 500 and whatever, I think that guy had 20 plus downs. I don't remember. I don't really know much about the new world record, but I know the old world record, which was like 400 something. The guy had 70 downs. I mean, is that a bit absurd? Well, from an old Zombies player's perspective, yeah, probably. But to the new players that are coming out, that's probably more of an incentive than anything else. They're like, wow, you can make this many mess ups, but still get up to a world record pace. I want to try that. So that I can appreciate. I can appreciate that. Do I think we should have two separate, like almost listings of the OG rules and then the new ones? But then it gets conflicting just because you can have 6 perks in this game, whereas all the other games without outside help, you can only get 4 perks. So that's where I'm not sure. I think we should just play this game as its own. We shouldn't mix it with the old. And if getting us unlimited perks as we want means we get unlimited revives, it's not really inhibiting my experience of the game. So I'm not going to complain or harp on it too much. I'm not going to go super in depth with this Zombies review just because I plan on doing a whole other video for that, comparing it to all the other games. But what they did right, they did really well. Cross progression with multiplayer was awesome. It's a great idea. XP rates need to be adjusted. Yeah. This Zombies experience is probably better than Black Ops 3, I would argue. We don't have gobblegums. That could change in the future because Activision loves its microtransactions, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But right now, I think we have an almost perfect Zombies experience, and if they add more maps, it can be one of the greatest ones, like up with Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. We won't know until later in the seasons when they release the microtransactions and the new maps come out, but I have really high hopes for this game, because I have thoroughly enjoyed myself for the majority of it. So my final thoughts on this game are, it is not nearly as bad as a lot of YouTubers are making it out to be. It does not deserve as much hate as it's been getting, because it is really a great game. Compared to Modern Warfare, this game is I wouldn't say a 10 out of 10 because of the issues that it does have with crashing and other things, but I'd definitely give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. In all honesty, this game is great. The Zombies and the multiplayer, I have a lot of fun with. So anyways, I plan on releasing a in-depth review of Zombies later, either later this week or next week. I'm not sure yet, but if you guys enjoyed, why not hit that like button? Drop a comment down below on what your thoughts on this game are, and if you think it's as good as people are making it out to be, or worse, or better. And if you really enjoyed, hit that subscribe button and see every time I upload. I'm going to be uploading a lot more Call of Duty Zombies coming up now that I'm back into it. After Black Ops 4, this game has reinvigorated my love for zombies, so I'm going to be posting it a lot more. So if you want to see that, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.